Hi, everybody. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Teresa Perrin, and I want to discuss SMMT because there are currently no shares left to borrow, and this stock is on an absolute rip, guys. Let's take a look at what's going on. Please remember, nothing I say is financial advice, and always do your own DD. I will never tell you when to buy, hold, or sell a stock, so please don't ask. Okay, so this all started about 2 days ago when Summit Therapeutics announced a licensing agreement for their cancer program. Akeso Inc. announced a collaboration and licensing agreement with Summit Therapeutics, which is SMMT, to out-license its breakthrough bispecific antibody, ivonescimab. I don't know, guys. I know I'm a nurse, but I stink at pronouncing drugs. For development and commercialization in the US, Canada, Europe, and Japan. In addition, the company will co-brand the product in the licensed territories. Currently, Akeso is conducting a phase 3 trial in that drug, monotherapy versus pembrolizumab monotherapy as the first-line treatment for NSCLC patients with positive PD-L1 expression. In the phase 2 study, investigators showed an overall response rate in patients with NSCLC who have failed EGFR TKIs of 68.4% and a median progression-free survival of 8.2 months when combined with combination chemotherapy as compared to historical MPFS of 4.3 months. So basically, it doubled their lifespan. In combination chemotherapy alone, the current standard of care. Akeso will receive a $500 million upfront payment, and the total potential deal value is up to $5 billion, including regulatory and commercial milestone payments. Akeso will also receive a low double-digit percentage of royalties on net product sales of ivosicimab, and they will retain development and commercialization rights for the rest of the world, including China. So this is what caused this to surge, guys, and we are on quite a rip, as you can see. This is a huge deal, and this is like a game changer for this drug, in my opinion. So it is only currently rated by one analyst who gives it a strong buy and a $5 price target. I bet you there will be some more analysts rating it soon if it continues on this movement. According to Webull, we are in a strong bullish signal with a short-term uptrend, a medium-term downtrend, and a long-term uptrend. So at some point, I'm betting they're saying a medium downturn because at some point, I bet this needs to get a pullback, which we will look at the technical analysis at the end of this video. Given the fact that there's no shares left to borrow, guys, as long as momentum continues and volume continues to trend into the stock, I still see potential for a strong upside. Now, today, you wouldn't believe it, but even with that price action ripping, 73% of all trades were in the dark pool. It's freaking crazy. And just so you have an idea, this has a small float, only 33.8 million shares. Its 52-week low is 66 cents. Its 52-week high is $5.26. The volume today was 20 times its normal volume of 4.42 million shares. Today we traded 89.22 million shares. Guys, that is absolutely crazy considering there's only 33.8 million shares in this entire float. How does that even make sense is beyond me, but that's what we did. Now, this is where it gets really interesting in my opinion. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw me share this because it doesn't add up. And this is where I'm saying that the more I look at Fintel and Ortex and these pools, which I pretty much stopped using Ortex because they found that the data was often wrong, but Fintel is the same thing, guys. But then I have to go back to, is it Ortex, is it Fintel, or is it where they're getting their sources from? And guys, who's reporting to them that they're getting this information from? That would be your hedge funds. So, you know, the fact that they don't currently have to disclose their short positions unless, you know, they're in a position where they're required to, which is most of them are not. You know, that would just be at their like, you know, state of California's, you know, teachers union or something like that. Then they have to publicly disclose their shorts. because they're required to. However, if you're Citadel or Susquehanna or any of these other large hedge funds, you don't have to disclose squat, which means that this information is solely a tool, guys. And clearly, based on what I'm seeing, this is, so many shares in the dark pool. We're going to talk about the short volume ratio, and you tell me if you think this adds up. Because according to FinTel, our short interest is only 93%. 0.93%, excuse me. Yeah, if it was 93%, it would absolutely make sense. It's not even 1%. That's crazy, and I don't believe it for a single second. So, here's some more data. There's no shares, like I said, left to borrow. Here's my proof. All day today, guys, they have not had shares since these last 15,000 were used 7 hours ago. This was updated 17 minutes ago. And since the last 7 hours, there's been none. And they don't just keep writing 0, 0, 0. They just tell you the last time it's been updated. So how freaking crazy is that? That for the last 7 hours, essentially, there's been no shares. Yet somehow they managed to pull the price back. And I mean, guys, things have to cool off. So, there's going to be people that are selling and taking profits. Understandably, day traders getting out, which is why you see these sell-offs and a lot of these stocks running at the end of the day. And then in pre-market, they start running again, right? That's your reason behind it. Now, the cost to borrow if shares should suddenly remarkably come available, which, don't be surprised if they do because we all know how this game works by now, is 512.80%. Could you imagine having a credit card with $1,000 balance and having to pay $512 in interest on it? Because essentially that's what a 512% interest would be. Freaking crazy. It's just asinine. And yet there's no shares left to borrow, so who's paying it? Somebody is. And guys, the best part is it went from 7.3% to 500%. So you tell me if you really believe that there is only less than 1% short interest in this stock. Because I don't. Anywho, the failure to delivers do not come into play according to this, so that's not even a consideration. But the main point is that there's no shares left. So as long as we keep buying, this stock can go to the moon. Now, it is trending on StockTwits, and it's also number 4 on Weeble's popularity list. And I assure you, it was not that way a couple days ago. And it's been going up and going up and going up. So at any rate, keep your eye on SMMT. I would not be shocked if it gets a massive short squeeze. Usually things don't squeeze on Friday, but wait till I show you. Right now, we're going to take a look at the technical analysis because potentially it could tomorrow or Monday, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so we are looking at the technical analysis on the daily chart. I pulled this up to be 1 month so that you could see the lines clearly. And as you can see, we made a doji. If you go back 4 candles, which is the sign of a reversal, and we have been on a strong and steady uptrend ever since. Now, this is looking very bullish in that we have the crossover of the 13 and the 20 above the 48 SMA. And it looks as though tomorrow we could actually make that cross above the 200, which would be extremely bullish, guys, and indicate a continuation. The RSI is in the overbought area, which it could be this way for quite some time, especially for squeezing. However, it could also need to cool back, which would cause us to possibly get a red day. That being said, I don't know. This movement looks very, very strong to me. So unless the market shifts or momentum shifts, then I would expect to continue this uptrend, especially with this crossover getting very, very close. But keep in mind that this is a possibility. Also, if you're looking at the MACD, our red line has crossed above the green. And right now you're seeing the red line has gone above the blue wave. Excellent. Now I want this green line to continue to go above this blue wave and us to continue moving above it. And let's look at a smaller time frame so that we can take a look and see what it's showing us, whether we're going to get some cool down or not. I'm going to just move this to be a 5-minute chart because it cuts out the noise. All right, so yep, as you can see, the 13 has crossed down below the 20 and below the 48 SMA. We are trading now above the 200, so that's bullish. Our MACD has had a chance to cool off, guys, and we're now about to make this crossover back above the green line. And also, our RSI has cooled off, and it's starting to point upwards. So that tells me that I'd expect a continuation of this move upwards tomorrow, and for us to cross back over the larger time frames, the smaller time frames to cross back above the larger ones. So as far as I can see, it looks like we should have a pretty good day tomorrow. Let me just look at a 240-minute 4-hour chart and see what it's telling us. Okay. Yep. So we've been trending for a while, guys, in the oversold on the 4-hour. So that goes to show you that the RSI can stay up here for quite some time. It did slightly dip down, but for the most part, it's been up for, the last 2 days. So we are also trading above the blue wave on the MACD for both lines. So this is still looking good, still pointing to the upside here. And our moving averages are all above the the smaller moving averages are all above the larger ones. Very, very bullish. This is great. The 4-hour candle does have a doji candle. So do we get a continued move to the upside, or does it pull back some more? Great question. We shall see tomorrow, but it looks like from the smaller time frame that I would expect a move to the upside to continue tomorrow, and especially with the crossovers getting close. So if volume continues to come in, I expect this to be a continued runner. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great night.